Author presents Back and Forth with NEVS and Sven, a program of writing rants and rebuttals.
Validation for your writing. What is it? Is it when mom tells you you're a great writer, or when your writers group has more good notes than bad, or if you win a book award, or if you end up on the bestseller list? What form does validation need to take for you? Is it something that's internal? Is it something that's external, faith, or some other kinds of sources? And how much validation do you need to keep motivated to write? Obviously, this is a personal question, and for every writer, they're going to have a different answer. And in my scenario, it's probably all the above. The authors that I meet that are going out and selling themselves to the public on a daily basis usually received validation at an early stage. Maybe it was validation from their family, then maybe it was later with their coworkers, and then after that it was an agent, and then finally a publisher. But they were validated by external sources every step of the way, and it gave them the courage to feel like, hey, you know what? I've got something to say and I'm going to say it. And it may not even have been about their writing. It could have been validation in some other complete field, or maybe it was sports when they were a kid. Who knows? But either way, the ego was growing and they felt confident enough about themselves that they felt like, hey, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to put it out in the world, and it's something that everybody is going to want to read. For those who have indie published, a lot of times they turn down the agent or they turn down the publisher, and then they put their book out in the market, and the sales of their books was the validation that they needed. I've met some writers that get validation through church groups or through writers groups, but they have that kind of support network that they need, the feedback loop, to keep them going. I'm fascinated by every individual's methods of validation. I'm also fascinated by how much of it they need and what their sources are, external or internal, and what that balance is. And I find it's different with everyone I talk to. Where do you get your validation? What form does it come in? And how much do you need to keep your writing drive going? I'd love to find out. Let me know below. You know, there's something pathetic about a person who is constantly seeking validation. I mean, if you're good, you know it, right? You either got it or you don't. If you don't, crawl back into your hole and make way for those that do. I don't have time for you. Hey, you know, maybe Sven writes because he needs to be validated by a larger audience. Maybe that's why you write. Before you label me with the big D word, I will acknowledge that writing is a rather isolated way to spend time. And when you get isolated, you might need a little ego boost to show you're not wasting your time and going crazy. But if you're in need of constant reassurance, then you should be seeing a therapist, not dumping it on us through your writing. Capiche? Hey, you know what? I'm just keeping it real. NEVS out.